Okay, so today for my podcast show, I have some people from the iArcade community. iArcade was a software company based in Skokie, Illinois, and started by John Wukshin. And so, okay, guys, what do you miss about the company?
Go ahead, Chris. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll try not to ramble here, because it was a fun, exciting, about 2 or 3 years. So I jumped on the Kickstarter and pretty early on, and it was exciting, from day one, just watching the numbers go up, and then I didn't know at the time that he was doing the live shows. So once I got on and watched those, it was so fun. It was exciting, I think he was doing Tuesdays and Fridays at the beginning, and just tuning in, and you gotta love Jong, and I think that's what it was, a great product, but I think that's what really got people to jump on the bandwagon, was just him and his personality, and he was just easy to connect with, on even though it was just through a screen. Um, and then I got the first unit, and really enjoyed it and loved the games, and we still play, and we got several units actually. Um, we I would like to say that it was just my addiction, but my wife jumped on as well, and she she bought a couple of them. Um, and it was actually kind of cool. So she's a principal and she's the superintendent now. When she was the principal, she had the beach buggy unit in her office, and several times, I mean, almost daily, when kids would come down for discipline reasons, the quick, easy icebreaker was like, "Hey, check this out, and go ahead. You can play a game if you want." Like, really? And then it opened up conversations, and then the kids went back to class, and then it was really cool, just for her to see how much of a difference an arcade would make, in kids' lives. So playing the games was fun, but there were different ways that it impacted us. We got to know people in the group, got to know you guys, and got to know Jong and Prentice and a lot of other people. And that's really the part that was most important to me, was making connections with people, and still having friendships now, from it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I was kind of on board day one. I was working, and I still work for Old School Gamer magazine, and we were going to have them as a sponsor, and so I got to meet them at one of our conventions here in Chicago. And before I even saw the unit, before I even played the unit, we met down, and when we spoke with Michael and Jong and everybody who was involved, and it was just so friendly, and I was so excited to be a part of something that was, new and fresh. Um, and I think the thing that drew me was obviously the quality of the machine as well as the price. There are arcade machines out there with other companies that are just a little higher in price. Or if you want a real arcade machine from the 80s or 90s, you're talking five, six, $700 for one game. So I think the idea of having so many games on one arcade machine that was really a solid machine kind of drew me into it. But like Chris is saying, I miss the people. I really enjoyed being part of something that grew from week to week, and part of a community that I got to meet a lot of people in person, and I miss that. And we'll talk in a little while about what I think went wrong, but I think that the couple of years I was involved, I wouldn't have anything bad to say. It was just a really great experience.
Yeah, I miss it because of the games, and that I think I've heard that there were like 900 or so unreleased titles, and that's
Yeah, they
just
came out
so
with they came out
sad.
I think they gave us a game or two every week. It seemed like every week there was a new game, two or three new games. Um, So that was a cool thing too. You got to look forward to something the next week to play a different game. What was your favorite game? Or do you still play?
I still play mine, so I think my favorite is Operation Wolf by Taito.
Yep. That was a hit when it came out for the iArcade. Yeah. What about you, Chris? What's your favorites?
Well, I have to say Heavy Metal Titans.
Yeah.
I'm under contract to say that. No,
What
it
about?
was. I mean, that's a whole nother thing that we can talk about. But we tried to squeeze it in there at the very end, and it was it was rushed, and we had some difficulties with it and stuff. But we hope that people enjoyed it, and especially the ones that got to see themselves in the game. And
Yeah.
we're hoping that eventually that we're in kind of a reorganization phase right now, but we're hoping we can continue, and we have plans for the next one, and we have plans for Mr. Todd here to be one of the villains in it, and so we're hoping that there's a lot that needs to be done to get back to that point to be able to create and stuff. And again, that's a whole nother conversation, but
Yeah.
that was fun as well. I guess my second favorite game. Gosh, there's just tons. There's so many. I tried to not buy too many games so that I could appreciate more, when I had, and get more into it and go into more depth, which I think is kind of the cause of the detriment of the whole entertainment genre or realm right now. Is there's just so much stuff. So I don't know. I liked the really old school stuff, the simple games like Jumpman Jr. and
Hmm.
the early Coleco games. I like
Yep.
some of the later things too. We play Beach Buggy all the time still, and I don't know. They were in the Sega games as well that they got on there were really fun, and I still play those as well. So,
Yeah, I think growing up, I was a huge fan of Dragon's Lair, and I think that was one of the games that came with the out of the box. I thought was really exciting because that was one of my favorite games, so it was like a no-brainer to have that with the Dragon's Lair. And then they came out with obviously Space Ace and Dragon's Lair 2. But the idea you could play Dragon's Lair and then play a ColecoVision game on the same system is just kind of cool to me.
yeah, pretty awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
If you can keep it simple and appreciate simple, I think you'll find so much more joy and in just anything in life. But when I think we've just gotten so addicted to stuff, whether it's TVs, movies, games, whatever it is, there's just so much stuff
Yep.
that people don't care what games there are to play. They want to know what else there is to play, or they don't care what movies they're playing. They want to know what else is playing. And really people just, I feel like they don't appreciate things. And I don't know, I think that's the major reason that it's hard for anything to succeed in the entertainment world.
yeah,
Just because it's so oversaturated.
yep, yep.
I think folks were making complaints, in the arcade community Facebook group about games not being released every week or so. And then John and Michael had made it clear that they cannot announce or even give out.
Like,
Yeah.
like hint at a new game, right?
Uh huh. So it's too many complaints by other
Yeah.
folks.
I think any new thing you create, any new concept is going to have doubters and complainers, and unfortunately, there was some of those. But I think they did what was right at the time, is to make sure everything was. I mean, obviously, like mutant football, that was going to be a game on the system, and they really hyped it up, and it ended up falling apart, and it didn't happen. So it really looked bad. So they didn't just want that to happen to every game. So I agree with them on keeping it secret and making sure everything was finalized before it was came out. Um, but in terms of one reason I think it did kind of fall, and I'm just speaking out of my experience. I don't have any proof or anything, but I think the quality of the machine was so good that they made so many different cabinets for so many specific games. They made the mutant Titan, or the mutant football cabinet, the Space Ace cabinet. They made the Operation Wolf cabinet. They made so many cabinets. I think it cost so much money to do that. I think that's something they probably could have done a little better, is just kind of keep it within a 2 or 3 themed cabinet. Because like you know, this one here, the stock one that came with the first one, I have no problem with it. I think it looks cool. I can play any game on it. I think the artwork is awesome, and that's just my opinion. I just think they made too many different ones that you know people weren't buying. I don't know, Chris, if you agree.
Yeah, I think that kind of goes along with the kind of the oversaturation just in the whole entertainment world. Um, that that could have been part of it. I don't know. It's it's easier obviously to look back and see what could have been done differently rather than in the moment what we should be doing. I think maybe the one small thing that affected them was that Young was just working, by the end, working 20 hours a day, and he couldn't make it to the live shows. I think a big draw was the live shows with him on there.
Yeah.
And Michael did a fine job, but I think that was a big piece that got people hooked on the product was just him and his personality and feeling like there's a sort of connection with him. And I can tell you for sure, I don't have a lot of firsthand information on anything, well, on anything really in life, but with iArcade, but what I can tell you is that John's is sincerely the person that you see on screen. Like he's a caring, like good-natured, kind person that cares about family and friends, but even strangers. And I've been around him long enough and enough times to know that what people saw on the screen was genuinely him.
Yeah.
So when we lost some of that, I think that kind of affected it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one thing that I missed. That John made everyone feel part of the whole arcade experience. It wasn't just him making money for the company. It wasn't he wanted everyone to be a part of it. Um, by having these, I went to a couple of these like corporate headquarter like bashes where they would have people come to corporate headquarters. They'd serve pizza and drink, pop and everything, and we play games. And I think that was most CEOs of a company, any company, won't do that that often. And he did it like 2 or 3 times. So that really was something that I missed as well.
Yeah, I never been to any of the events in Skokie and with LA too. Was it?
Huh? I don't know. Is it out? Maybe. Yeah.
They had one. Yeah, sorry, they had one out in LA. I think it was a reveal of a couple of the cabinets. I didn't go to that.
No.
It was on a rooftop. It looked pretty cool. Like it would have been fun. But yeah, they had one out there, but the others were in Chicago. Yeah, and still.
Yeah.
So, what could have saved that company from going out of business?
Hmm. Well, I mean, to be honest, I don't know what kind of budget they were on or what kind of, finances they were on. I know they were trying to have someone sponsor some next phase of the game. They were going to do some sort of like controls or some sort of control panel thing. And I think that person backed out, and I think that sort of hurt them at the end. I think they were looking forward to that financing of money. And that might have been the downfall, but um, to save it, I don't know. I think, like like Chris said, I think Zhang was burnt out. I think he would probably worked way too much. He was so passionate about it, and maybe he just it just got burnt out. He may have had more energy if he worked less and had more people helping. But yeah, other than that, it was just a kind of a whole domino effect.
Yeah, I don't. Again, it's like I said, it's typically easy to look back and say, well, this could have been done, or this shouldn't have been done. But really, I can't come up with really anything solid either.
Right.
Which tells me that it did what it was supposed to do. I don't know that we needed to pull anything else out of the project. They built these really nice systems and tons of games. And people can everybody has their own opinions about every specific game or groups of games or whatever. But there are plenty of games there to enjoy for the life of the system. And that's what we're doing now. You know, I really don't know that anything needed to be done a whole lot differently, because again, I always go back to how can anything survive in in a field where it's just so saturated with so much stuff, unless unless you become trendy like a Minecraft or a what's the other one?
Fortnite.
Yeah, Fortnite. Unless it becomes like a part of culture, especially with kids, I really don't think anything can be massive enough or innovative enough to last as long as they want to. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because it's just what's the next thing.
Yeah. I could tell you for a fact that John probably did everything he could to keep it going. I think he did not want to make to go away, and he was going to do anything he could. It's just he tried everything and it just couldn't work out because he didn't take that decision lightly. I guarantee you he was very upset, and um, which told me that it was unsavable if he could not save it. So
Yep.
uh, yeah, but I do know that you know the community is still out there, and I like still talking to the people. And Chris mentioned before this we came on live here that he met with Zhang recently, and I think that's cool. I definitely would like to meet with him again, just as friends. But I think the arcade community is still strong, and and definitely it's going to be strong for years to come. So
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've met so many friends for life, you know, that
yep,
see each other enough that IRK or games or whatever may not even come up in conversation. You know, that's where it all started. And you just, you know, it was an opportunity to get to know people that we wouldn't have otherwise. And we still have these, you know, nice cabinets with tons of games on it to play as well.
yeah. I mean, people come over to this day to my house, and the first thing they see is the arcade, and they're like, "Wait, what's that? Let's play!" It's like
Yeah.
it's like the biggest fan favorite of the house. And I'm a big console collector. Like I'm into retro consoles. I do retro gaming conventions, but those are hard to like set up, and you got to get TVs going. You got to get everything spaced out. But the iArcade, you can play. Shoot, I mean, right? I mean, now because of the encoder, you can play like Sonic on your iArcade, and you can play, you know, like you said, Beach Buggy Racing. But then you can play Mortal Kombat. It's just really convenient to have an arcade machine with all those games on it, and it's a solid machine. It's good material and quality.
And I really, I think that that's why retro games and lots of retro different genres are still alive today. You know, Old School Gamer magazine is still so popular because those experiences that we had with those games and TV shows and movies and whatever, they were
Yep.
meaningful at the time because there wasn't a whole lot of other stuff. You know, that was meaningful
Yep.
things that we paid attention to and that we played. You know, we played these very simple games over and over and over and over for weeks and weeks and weeks. You know, we loved it, and that's why we can. You know, we open up any game now. You know that maybe it's been 30 years since we played a game that we used to love, and we still. I mean, you just jump right in like you never stopped. You know where all the secret areas are or whatever, because that stuff was just so meaningful to us. So that's just something I'm thankful for. That, you know, I feel bad for kids today because 20 years from now they're not going to remember a TikTok video that they watched or
Exactly.
you know, anything that they experienced because they didn't really experience it.
Right.
So that's why I appreciate all these, you know, these this retro stuff, to not to relive it but to feel again. You know, something that you felt before.
And pass it down to our kids and stuff,
Yep.
and have them play, yeah, that's the coolest part.
Yep.
So, do you will you be seeing John anytime soon? Or do you plan on meeting him soon? Again.
Oh, possibly. So, I try to get up to Chicago, and I just learned that Todd's up there now too. He has been, but I just now learned that.
Yeah.
maybe he knew and just forgot, but yeah, we need to get him on board as well. So I like to go up there. I don't know, maybe once a year, every other year to hang with Prentice and Jong and just to catch up and have fun. And
Yeah.
we went out and we did karaoke last time. That's always kind of the go-to, especially with that group. It's a lot of fun, and yeah, we'll need to give Todd a holler as well.
Yeah,
And
please do. Yeah. I'd love to hang out. I saw some pictures from when you guys were out, and I didn't put two and two together that you were here in Chicago. I just saw you guys were out. Um, but yeah, it would be good to get together, just talk gaming. It doesn't have to be iArcade, it could be anything gaming or whatever's
yeah,
on his mind. I definitely like to do that. And I plan to. I just got busy with a new job last October. My plan was to get like the community back to Chicago, like kind of have like a reunion party, kind of bring some arcades and set them all up. I plan to do that. I don't know what time or day, but it's going to happen. I want to get everyone coming into Chicago one weekend and just having a good time, you know, getting all the iArcades together, having tournaments. Oh, that was the other thing I missed too. I was going to mention is what was cool about iArcade, in my opinion, was the online leaderboards where you could play against other people and compete with that. That's what kept me driving, to be honest, in the beginning, because I wanted to be the high score of all those games. Um, and then it was fun because you'd see kind of the same names up at the leaderboard. You're like, gosh, how are they doing that for every game? And I just want to beat them. So I think like with arcade one-ups and all the other arcade machines, they can't really give you that competition part of the online leaderboard. That
yep.
was
And yeah, and to kind of just piggyback off that, it was fun too then to actually meet some of those people in person.
yeah.
Like, are they human? Like, how can they be that good at that many games? And
I know, right?
and you just
Yeah.
find out they're just fans like us. I
Yeah.
mean, outside of their insane ability to
Yeah.
beat.
I had a few high scores on some games I could take credit for, but some of those guys had like 20, 30 games they were leading on. Like, geez, it's just
Yeah.
a very gifted players.
Yeah, it's amazing. It was cool. That was another fun part about the game in Brew Nights was putting faces to names. And
Yeah.
a really funny story. I think I was right there next to you. We were just standing there playing games. You know, they had the arcades all lined up, and
Yep.
there was a guy on the other side of me, and my wife was there with me too. And
Oh.
she had walked in, and the guy on the other side of me was like, "I know that lady. Is that lady from those movies?" And he asked me, and I was like, "Yeah, that's her." And he looked at me, he was like, "Wait, are you the dude?" Like, yeah, that me. And
Yeah.
it was just fun again, just seeing people put faces to names, and and just kind of bring it all together, and even just
Yeah.
some silly things that we did, just like knowing that these are actual people and these are real people that got to
Yeah.
meet. It was pretty
It was
cool.
fun. It was fun. I got to be involved in a small project too by creating a trading card for Zhang and present it to him. And he was so, I've never seen, I've given out a lot of trading cards and people are pretty shocked and excited, but Zhang really took it to a new level. He was like a little kid. He was so excited to be on a trading card. He was going to go back home and show his brother and brag about it. It was really
That's
cool
awesome.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I can see that too. And again, that's genuine from him. That's
Oh, yeah.
not put on. That's genuine. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so cool.
Yep.
That's awesome. Todd does a lot of cool stuff online. He's got different Facebook groups, and his Walter Day trading cards and the retro magazines.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff coming up. I got the video game summit coming up in October here in Chicago. I joined forces with the Pinball Expo, so we're now partners, and so we're gonna have a huge event in October. I don't know. I just like the iArcade community. I like the retro gaming community. I think everyone's just so friendly. I love meeting the people, the designers of the games, like the voice of NBA Jam, Tim Kitzrow. I just love meeting like the people that were involved when I was a kid, and now I can say they're my friends, and it's been a great experience with the trading cards, with the magazines, just everything. I'd like to do more. As I get older, it's harder to, but I still plan to do a lot of cool things next year and the rest of this year. But
That's cool.
and I'm very excited for you for your game. I hope we can go to the next level. I hope I can get involved. I'm looking
That's my hope. Yeah, that's my hope. after a big project, everyone's just kind of exhausted, you know, and then you have plans for things, and then you have a bunch of different plans, and then yeah, we're just like I said, we're kind of reorganizing. But you mentioned, and my hope that you know we can do that. So the levels are already designed.
Oh, wow.
So there's still a whole lot of you know work to do and stuff, and
Yeah.
so your area that you'll be in is already designed that villain's realm.
The villain part. Yeah.
So, yeah, and you mentioned Tim Kitzrow, another just cool person, very humble person, you know, that's done huge things, but we'll just stop and
Yeah.
talk to him. So he did uh, some of the audio on our game,
Yep.
and so to hear him call out your character's name, you know, in a game was like that was pretty cool.
Yeah. That was a good one.
Um,
Yeah.
so it was, yeah, he's a good guy, and you know, there's a lot of those people. Well, and Walter, you know, that I mean,
Yeah.
they've done these big things that are big names that are just very humble and part of the community. You know, it's very cool.
Yeah. It's been a crazy ride, but it's been just an awesome adventure. And I look forward to, yeah, going to the next phase of whatever comes to me.
Yep, very
So
cool.
what's your plans, Daryl, coming up? Anything coming up for you?
Uh, uh, not at the moment.
Just a podcast?
Yeah. Okay, that's all the time I have for today. And thank you to my guests, Todd and Chris from the IRK community. And stay tuned for more videos in the future.
Thanks for having me,
Awesome.
Daryl.
Yep. Thanks for having us on, buddy.
Yeah,
We'll talk
thank you.
soon.
Bye.
Yep. Bye.